PCS, and they've written to say, on behalf of our regional committee and the 40,000 PCS members in the North West region, I'm delighted to offer solidarity greetings to NUT and NASUWT on today's rally. Our unions enjoy an excellent relationship at the regional TUC, which is increasingly filling the political void vacated by Her Majesty's official opposition. By articulating our alternatives of jobs, growth and defence of public services, we will continue to lead the campaign against the destruction of the institutions that we cherish. Among the dangers of deregulating our education system is the byproduct that will see the further liberalisation of employment practices, breaking up teachers' pay bargaining arrangements, making it easier to hire and fire, and undermining the professional status will do nothing to improve our children's education, but it will make it easier for education to become a commodity to be bought and sold for profit. We stand with unions, parents and governors who are prepared to fight to oppose that. You can rely on our continued support. I think that's an excellent start. And I do thank the PCS member who brought that along to us today. Now, we've got a number of speakers for you today that will reflect what we are trying to do here, which is trying to bring the whole community together in defence of education. So we'll be starting today with Patrick Roach, and he's the Deputy General Secretary of the NASUWT. And I think most people here will be aware that NUT and NASUWT are working very closely now on this campaign, and that's why both unions are represented here. So first, I'd like to introduce to you Patrick Roach from the NAS.
Thanks very much for that introduction, Julie, and hello Liverpool and the North West. It's wonderful to be here. Colleagues, it's even more wonderful to be here because the North West region is in the vanguard of the campaign that Julie referred to, the joint campaign NASUWT and NUT together, protecting teachers, defending education, defending our system of state education, education for all, not education for the few. It's a privilege also to be here because the North West region will be the first region that will be engaged in a campaign of escalated industrial action, including strike action, potentially at the end of June. Given the failure colleagues, the failure of the Secretary of State to listen to the concerns, the very genuine concerns of teachers and the mounting concerns of parents, carers, communities and the public at large. We're here today, colleagues, rallying for education. Rallying for education at a critical time for our schools, our teachers and for our children and young people. Why do I say that? Well, I say it, colleagues, because our world-class system of education in this country is in danger. It's in danger, colleagues, as a result of changes being forced on our schools by the coalition governments. Changes that include privatisation, deregulation, narrowing of the curriculum, and charging and profiteering from education. Changes that are opposed by the majority of members of the public and certainly by parents, and opposed by 9 out of 10 teachers. Teachers together in the NASUWT and the NUT. But also teachers together, united with school governors, parents and carers, all of us united in a common aim, colleagues, a common aim to secure the best future for our children's education, protecting teachers, defending education. But just look at what's been done to our schools over the course of the last 3 years. Look what's been done to our children's education. In just 3 years, 3,500 early years centres, Sure Start Children's Centres, providing valuable early years support for 2, 3 and 4-year-olds threatened with closure since 2010. In just 3 years, the new school buildings programme has been axed. In just 1 year, colleagues, 10,000 fewer teachers in our schools. And last year, the government introduced changes to remove from children the rights to be taught by a qualified teacher. Absolutely appalling, colleagues. And we're in danger, colleagues, of returning to a past when the best education that a child received was the best education that his or her parents could afford to pay for. Now, for the sake of our families and for our communities, we must not let that happen. Today, we have a world-class system of education in this country, the second best education system in Europe, colleagues, the 6th best education system in the world. So what's the government's motive? Does the government really believe that they can improve education quality by dumbing down the teaching profession, not raising the bar, but actually lowering it, not by supporting, developing and rewarding teachers as professionals, but instead by criticising and denigrating our teachers? No other country in the world, colleagues, no other country in the world expects to get the best out of teachers by attacking teachers. Colleagues, denigrating teachers won't lead to more people wanting to become teachers. That's the truth. Just last year alone, 30,000 fewer graduates applied to train to become teachers. That's unheard of at a time of a recession, at a time when record numbers of graduates can't even find a job and are facing long-term unemployment, and many of them have spiralling debts brought about by the betrayal of the Lib Dems, who vowed to scrap tuition fees and instead trebled the level of tuition fees. Colleagues, shame on them and shame on the Conservative part of that coalition government. We are seeing a crisis in our education system, a crisis which will be deeply damaging for children and young people. Fewer and fewer teachers, larger and larger classes, a crisis in our schools, colleagues, and teachers now face the prospect of a dog-eat-dog system of performance pay. A system that's not about paying good teachers more, it's all about paying more teachers less, in order to increase the opportunity of good teachers less in order to increase the opportunity for companies to maximise the profits that they can make out of education. And we say, NASUWT and NUT together say, our children's education deserves better. Now, we know what the government's response is to that. They say we can't afford to pay for good quality public services. They say our country can't afford it, that the nation's credit card has been maxed out, that there's no alternative to austerity. Well, colleagues, we're here today in massive numbers, standing room only, to say there is an alternative, and we're here today as teachers, as parents and others to demand that change. Michael Gove, stop spending millions of pounds on your pet projects, your free schools, your academies programme, which all the evidence confirms are costly and expensive and a mistake. Instead, We need more help for the thousands of families who are struggling to send their children to school, who are struggling to give their child a decent breakfast, struggling to pay the rising cost of a school meal. We need more help for families whose teenagers want to stay on in education, but who've been denied the chance to do so because of the government's abolition of the education maintenance allowances. We need more help, colleagues, for those children at the early stages in their lives who need access to quality preschool education, not the closure of Sure Start centres. We need more help, colleagues, to renew and refurbish and rebuild our schools' estate. New school buildings, colleagues, not only improving the education and welfare for children and young people, colleagues, but creating valuable jobs, jobs that are much needed within our economy. And we need to restore the entitlement for children and young people to be taught by qualified teachers and to have access to a broad and balanced curriculum that prepares them for life, not a curriculum fit for the 1950s. Colleagues, the NUT, the NASUWT are here today and in our rallies up and down the country over the coming weeks and months to tell members of the public, to tell parents and carers that teachers, our members, care passionately about children's education. And we know that you can't have great schools without great teachers. So what's the solution? It's not about abolishing a national system of teachers' pay, which won't get us better teachers. Not by attacking teachers' pensions and forcing teachers to work till they drop. That won't make teachers any more committed to the job. Not by replacing professionally qualified teachers with unqualified staff. That won't improve children's education, their progress and their achievement. Filling teachers' time with useless bureaucracy won't improve the amount and quality of education that children receive. And sacking teachers, sacking support staff and increasing class sizes won't give children the individual attention that they deserve to achieve their very best. It's time the government listens to teachers, rather than waging war against the teaching profession. Michael Gove, stop picking a fight with teachers. Stop playing fast and loose with our children's education and start engaging in genuine dialogue with teachers. With NASUWT and NUT, 9 out of 10 teachers. And with parents, communities here in the Northwest and across the country, we stand united. We are standing up for children's education. Let us stand together, colleagues, in solidarity. Together we will win for children, teachers and our education service. Thank you very much.